And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
Welcome in to RBLR Sports, covering all things about our wonderful Tampa Bay sports teams. My name is Eureka, and with me doing a touchdown dance in the end zone is Masab. Masab, what is going on, man?
It's going, man. It's another wonderful day in Tampa Bay. How you doing, Eureka?
I'm good, man. You know, it's a little bittersweet, you know, with the Rays not coming through all the way and losing the World Series in 6 games to the juggernaut LA Dodgers. But our Buccaneers did a solid and beat the Raiders. It was, you know, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of point scoring. It was a fun game all the way around. So, you know, I'm happy the Rays did some good things. Ultimately didn't win the prize, but the Bucs had a great week. So all in all, man, it was pretty fun.
Totally. I can definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, man. What do you think? What was your highlight of the week so far?
Oh, man, definitely the Bucs game for sure. You know, I was predicting something along the lines of 31-17.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I'm really happy with the end score of 45-20.
Woo!
You know, I was watching it, you know, in the end of third quarter, fourth quarter when, you know, the Raiders were catching up, only 4 points behind. And I'm thinking, all right, well, I trust the Bucs. You know, after watching how they performed in Green Bay, I was like, all right, I can definitely see them getting at least one more touchdown. But hey, they made me really proud, and they got a few more touchdowns after that. The defense stayed, you know, doing their job really well, and we came out with a wonderful win, 45-20.
Yeah, let's just keep talking about the Bucs to lead off the show today. Now, we did expect that it to be a high-scoring game with a really powerful offense from the Raiders, and I think we both agreed that the main difference is going to be the Bucs' awesome defense against a not so good defense coming from the Raiders. So all in all, was that when you were watching the game, what do you think? Was there something the Raiders did that was a little more unexpected, or did this pretty much lay out the way you thought it was?
I think it was laid out the way I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially on the offense side, it's you know, I stay rooting for them, and I'm always hoping they always do well, and they have been doing really well. But I knew the defense going against the Raiders was definitely going to do a great job, and that's what they did. You know, they contained Derek Carr, who's only thrown one interception all season, and you know, Tampa Bay picked him off. And even with the running back Josh Jacobs, you know, who's been performing really well, as I could probably say definitely one of the best backs in the league, but they still held, you know, the Raiders' rushing attack to under 100 yards. So, you know, the defense really came through. Definitely a shout out to, I want to say, Devin White, who this is his now 4th game now and with 10 plus tackles. So the defense was just absolutely on beast mode, and they've just been on full throttle, I think, since that Bears game.
Now, what did you see? Because the big thing for me was how Derek Carr has been performing this year, and going through, you know, the Nelson Aguilar did have a couple just really good deep plays, but all in all, were you happy with how the Bucs defense was able to kind of contain David Carr all in all?
Yeah, absolutely. David Carr has been performing really well prior to this. He had a wonderful performance against the Chiefs, which gave them a win. So they definitely just really pressured the whole offense of the Raiders, causing them obviously to just dominate throughout the whole game. I think in the end, you know, obviously that last touchdown of theirs, maybe, you know, we made a few errors, especially with those penalties that kind of cost us a lot, you know, that one touchdown. But, you know, I think just the defense and the staff who were watching that, especially, you know, the defensive coordinator, Todd Bowles, and everyone else, they're definitely just thinking, all right, well, hey, you know, we screwed up on this one, but, you know, no way we're gonna let them win this. And that's exactly what they did. As I mentioned before, they went hard. They did exactly what they needed to do, and I'm impressed. And I just want to say that the performance we saw against the Green Bay Packers in Week 6 was definitely an impressive one. Obviously, no penalties, and the defense was just completely just dominating, and same thing with our offense. But the win over the Raiders, however, I think it's going to give us a better idea of what we should be expecting from this team going on forward. They did exactly what people were expecting them to do. After the Green Bay Packers win, they say, okay, hey, things are going to happen. Like penalties might happen, and we might make a few errors like any other team does. But overall, our Bucs defense should definitely be doing great on the offense, but especially the defense side. And that's really about it. They absolutely they made us all proud, and what we expected was exactly what we got.
Was there anything like new or eye-opening that we learned about the Bucs this week?
Ooh, okay, that's a good question. I want to say yes. Three things I definitely kind of got from that game was, first of all, we saw football at its finest. Okay, so first of all, even Chris Godwin said himself that these are the way we performed is exactly how we should be performing and will be performing in the future if all goes well. The offense led the way for a second straight win by 20 more points, which was actually, fun fact, a first in team history, by the way. So, the Raiders did get within 4 points, and not only did the offense answer with an immediate touchdown drive to Godwin, of all people, to go up, back by 11, but the defense then just took the ball away before Las Vegas could even gain any ground. And, just after that one touchdown, they weren't even done. They proceeded to score 2 more touchdowns during that day, one from, Tom Brady, who has been setting some awesome records. And second, I want to say is, I think Brady has become a lot more comfortable with his new system. Obviously, it's a little more in the future right now, just because we have our Giants game coming forward. But the game that the Buccaneers played against the Saints, their first game, I know for a fact is not going to be the same game they're going to play against the Saints this upcoming Sunday. Not this Sunday, but the Sunday after. So the Bucs offense is still perfect in its kind of goal-to-go situations. To me, it's incredible. They've converted all 20 of them into touchdowns. One of the few teams to still kind of have that streak going, the other being the Tennessee Titans. But, they're also fourth in the red zone scoring percentage, which is, really nice to see. But additionally, Tom Brady is actually the least sack quarterback in the league. The offensive line has only let up 8 sacks all season, which is definitely, I think, for sure, top 3. So, and then, I just want to say, obviously, Tom Brady himself has just been putting some ridiculous stats. He has surpassed the Saints quarterback Drew Brees for most touchdown passes in NFL history, with that 4th score of the game on Sunday. So Brady's now sitting at 559, right above Brees, which is 558. And then the third thing I also just want to add was, one part of the second part of the second point I had was Brady was just dishing it out to everyone. Gronk wasn't the only one who was kind of, just getting it all from Brady. Scotty Miller had a career day, tallying a career 109 yards. Godwin was perfect, 9 for 9. So this has just been really nice. This is something I haven't seen in a while from Tom Brady or even the Buccaneers. And now on to my third point, which was defense has been really making those plays when it specifically counts. Inside linebacker Devin White had 3 sacks that game. He now all of a sudden is, he's been breaking out game by game. He led the team with 11 tackles, as I mentioned before, making it his 4th game this season. So not just Devin White, but just everyone. They've just been really dominating, especially our secondaries. I want to say, Antoine Winfield has been performing absolutely well, and even safety Mike Edwards tipping Carr's first pass of the drive, and then Winfield coming down with it. That was really nice to see. So, the way I see it, whether people want to pull out the stats or not, Buccaneers definitely have the top three defenses in the league right now, and it shows. So, yes, it wasn't as dominant of a performance as the Bucs, saw against the Packers, but the defense only let up a whole 76 yards on the ground and only allowed 20 points, but they were also capable of racking up 45 points. So this game to me was complimentary football, and everything to me is just really clicking together. I think, adding all these new players and rookies, and, it takes some time to adjust, but everything is really clicking. And once we kind of get those wins going, I think everyone's also really hype. Obviously if things are going really well but we're still not winning, it's a little heartbreaking, but we've been performing extraordinary. These are not wins by like 5 points. I mean, we have been performing super well these last two games. So for that reason, I think the Bucs offense, defense, the staff, they're all hype. We know we are a threat, and I think as much as people did expect it, by attaining players, such as Gronk and LaShawn McCoy, Leonard Fournette, and we're actually going to be adding Antonio Brown as well. But just even Ronald Jones he did a solid job. Everything, and then our leader Tom Brady, he's finally just really got it together. So that's really about it. Those are definitely my three kind of takeaways from the game. I am very impressed because the Raiders are actually really good. It's one thing and just like I was with the Packers game, I was very proud. But it's one thing if we perform like this against the Bears. Would I be surprised? A little bit, just because we scored 45 points. But obviously, we were definitely expecting a solid win, although we didn't get that. But, against the Raiders, I was definitely thinking it's going to be a tough battle, just with, Derek Carr, Nelson Aguilar, and Josh Jacobs kind of being those key threats. But, hey, the Bucs, they proved me wrong. They showed me that, hey, whether it be the Raiders, Packers, it doesn't matter how good they are, they're not a problem. And I'm looking forward to our next game with the Giants.
Yeah, this was a good showing by the Bucs to say that. See, the Raiders definitely have a high-powered offense. I mean, they average now they're over 28 points a game, even after this performance against the Bucs. But you take a look at who they've played, and Vegas did play another high-powered offense with the Chiefs a couple weeks ago, and so they gave up 32 points to the Chiefs, but that's no big thing. And they also played Buffalo, who's doing really well. They gave up 30 points to the Buffalo Bills, 36 to the New England Patriots, so on and so forth. So I think we both expected the Buccaneers to be able to put points on the board, and then, like you said, with Devin White and just that crushing defense. What I learned, what I liked from seeing everything and looking through the stats is that it wasn't a fluke that the Buccaneers beat the Packers. I think the only fluke that's happened this whole year is the Buccaneers losing by 1 point to the Bears. And one of the things we were talking about a couple weeks ago was were the Buccaneers maybe overlooking the Bears and looking towards their opponent the following week, which was the Green Bay Packers. This kind of leads me into our next game here with the powerhouse New York Giants on the schedule next week. I mean, the Giants are only 1.5 games out of the lead for the NFC East with their 1-6 record. Is there a possibility that the Bucs are overlooking the Giants to look ahead to their big clash against the division New Orleans Saints?
No, I don't think so. I think they definitely do have that thing on their mind, meaning the Saints. But I think that loss that they had against the Bears has just really kind of put in their head that you can't underestimate anyone, and we're just going to be going full throttle no matter who we're playing. And our team has just overall been performing absolutely phenomenal. That they don't need to do that. Tom Brady had a monster day against the Raiders. He spread the ball around pretty well, and then now we're having Ronald Jones and Fournette kind of sharing that running back position, and they've been doing a solid job. Offensive line has been keeping Brady clean. Devin Monster has been doing super well, and then while I'm talking about this, I just really want to highlight our newcomer, Mr. Steve McClendon, who has wasted no time making a strong impression in his Buccaneer debut. He picked up 4 tackles, 3 solo of them in the first half alone, and 1 going for a loss. So total, he ended up with 5 tackles, 4 solos, and that's awesome. That's really awesome. I love it. And then Antoine Winfield coming in with that, first interception of his. The Bucs have just been dominating, and there should be absolutely no reason why they don't dominate this again. The way I'm looking at it is, and obviously I don't want to think about this way, and I think no one should, but it does come to my mind that, statistically wise though, the Bucs they've been putting some really good numbers, some nice records. So why ruin that against the Giants? Whether they be 1-6, 1-6, or 6-1, or undefeated, or win no games. It should be a fun matchup, but I don't think they're gonna let that slide. That hey, we're gonna take it easy on the Giants, or hey, we're still gonna do well. Obviously, I don't say they're gonna take it easy, but hey, even if we don't really kind of get hot in the beginning, it's okay. It's the Giants. I don't think that's gonna come on their mind. The Bucs are, we already got 2 losses. One loss definitely just being kind of a really heartbreaking one. So right now we should only have 1 loss technically, and that's only because it was the first game and no preseason games, and Brady kind of, I guess, didn't click too well. So with already 2 losses, and we definitely want to be making the playoffs in the Super Bowl, we can't afford to lose any games, and we just really want to show the whole world that hey, we're not just a team of good guys, that we're just getting away with some wins here and there. We want to keep dominating. I know Bruce Arians said in his press conference that right now our mind is only on the Giants game. As soon as that whistle blows, and as soon as that 4th quarter clock hits 0, then we can start thinking about the Saints, whether we win or lose. But we just need to put all of our focus onto the Giants. We need to take it game by game. I think maybe that was an issue before, maybe it wasn't. I can't say. But they need to take it game by game, and I know for sure Bruce Arians is definitely going to let them know that, and their leader, Tom Brady, is definitely going to make sure he lets them know that too. And then we also have to think about, just a little side note, we have to think about the last game we played against the Giants last year, with Daniel Jones kind of running in the ball for that kind of heartbreaking, depressing touchdown that we weren't. I don't think any Bucs fans or even Bucs players are really expecting, especially Daniel Jones being his rookie year. So no way the Bucs are going to let this game slide. Will it be close? Hopefully not. If it is, I know the Bucs will win. And it'll only be close if the Bucs kind of loosen up a little bit in the end, just because they're going to be thinking, oh, okay, well, hey, we kind of got this game in the bag, and now it's time to focus on the Saints. But I think it's going to be, I wouldn't say a blowout, but I'm thinking something similar along the lines of a 45-20 game. I might as well just say it right now. My hot take right now is I'm thinking 35-16 Buccaneers win. I think the Giants will definitely get at least one touchdown, and then their kicker Graham Gano, who's been doing really well as a kicker, 15 for 16. I think he'll definitely help him out, rack up some points, but no way it's going to be enough against the Buccaneers. So for that reason, I'm going 35-16 Buccaneers. And what about you? What do you think, Eureka?
It's so funny. So, because every week we kind of do this, and I have this little spreadsheet that I put together for betting purposes and whatnot, looking at point differentials, so I do all these numbers and click buttons, and I know we don't talk about this beforehand, but I have my little spreadsheet has predicted it will be 34-17, and it's just funny that that all the facts and figures and everything spit out almost exactly what you think's going to happen here. But looking at the Giants, they have just a subpar offense. They have a worse than average defense, and unfortunately, both of those sides are going against a stellar, top 5, if not number 1 defense in the NFL right now. If I'm being generous to everyone else in the league, and not just saying the Bucs are the best defense, but right now they're showing they are. And then coupled with the Tom Brady is now, like you've been saying, Tom Brady's now in sync with all these guys. Scotty Miller's back. Gronkowski is still catching touchdowns every week from Brady. So they are performing way above average on both sides of the ball, and I'm just sitting here trying to think, is there anything that the Giants can do against the Bucs? And in reality, I think that the only way that the Giants can win this game is a combination of kind of the things we saw in the Bears game, the sloppy penalties. If there's sloppy play or bad route running, or if they take a play off and Brady starts throwing out routes underneath receivers, or he's overthrowing people and they just can't get the run going. It's little things like that I think the only way the Bucs don't just blow out the Giants is if they let their guard down and they lose the mental side of the game, and they let the Giants kind of make up the gap that's there. So I do think it will be something along the lines of that. See, I don't think the Bucs will actually have to score that much to win. I think the Giants might put 10 to 14 points on the board. So it might be one of those games where, if the Buccaneers come out ready to handle business and they put 21 points on the board in the first half, they might be able to kind of put away the offense, not have to use any special trick plays, and not put more of that tape out there. And they might just be able to utilize the run game, just kill the clock and get out of there, hopefully without any injuries on the Giants turf. That's my big thing is don't be stupid, don't get injured, and let's take care of business and move on to the rest of our season and especially the Saints coming up after. Yeah. So we talked about that. I did want to say, is there anything that the Giants have that you're willing to say, oh, well, if they do one or two things, that the Giants can definitely poke some holes in the Buccaneers?
I would probably just say, young quarterback Daniel Jones does have a good crew of pass catchers around him, being, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram, Golden Tate, and Sterling Shepard. And, he's definitely had some solid games and nice games during his young career. But offensively, overall, the Giants have struggled. They're ranking in the bottom of the league with most in yards and in points scored, and they are definitely going to get a nice tough challenge on Monday against the Buccaneers, which has already proved itself against two of the NFL's most explosive offenses from Week 6 and Week 7. But we'll see how everything works. If Daniel Jones is really hot, with Slayton Ingram, Tate, and Shepard, maybe they have a chance. But I'm also just thinking our secondary unit, our D-line unit, where a lot of them are really young guys. They're proven that they are the real deal. We already know some of them are already the real deal, but some of them are still letting other fans know that because the Bucs already know. I already know, being a Bucs fan, that Winfield is he's gonna be, if he already isn't the real deal. They're gonna let everyone know that we're set. We got everything what we need. We got our weapons. We've been hot 2 games. So there should be no excuse, to be kind of screwing up here and there. The Bucs will be playing without Chris Godwin though. But hey, we got a nice red hot quarterback, Brady, who in the recent weeks has rekindled his productive connection with people like Gronkowski and Scotty Miller and even Mike Evans. So I don't expect anything to go wrong. And a nice pickup we got from Steve McClendon since we lost Vita Vea for the season. So we're going to be seeking to match our best 8-game start ever. Most recent one was our Super Bowl championship run we had. But then again, the Giants are just going to try to finish the game better than us, and they're just going to try to prove that their coach, Mr. Judge, forgetting his first name right now, they're just going to try to prove that, hey, what Judge has been doing, it's going to work. The rebuilding process of this team's culture is indeed taking root. But in the end, I just really just don't see the Giants having a chance. So sorry, Giants fans, if you're listening to this, but I just don't. There's just it would be really stupid of the Buccaneers to be screwing up like they did against the Bears, and seeing how much potential we have. This is not how are you going to tell me that we're not great after beating the Packers and the Raiders? And then, any of these team members, any of these players and staff thinking, oh my God, we did so good against the Packers and the Raiders. How did we mess up against the Bears? And, they think about, okay, we were weak on this, penalties, this and that. So we've already identified our weaknesses. And because we have identified them, we've been playing a lot better. So I just don't see any issue.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The Bucs haven't been this good since their World Championship run, and unfortunately, the Rays weren't able to capitalize on their championship run. We'll get into the good and the bad and the future of the Rays. All of that after the break.
Welcome back to RBLR Sports with Musab and Eureka. We've talked the Bucs. Now it's time to talk about the Rays. So first of all, just what I think of what's happened with the Rays is what a beautiful run we've had. I just want to start out with I am really proud of our Rays. It was a fun series to watch, especially Game 4. Unfortunately, it came to a short ending. With the Dodgers winning the World Series. I got a lot to say, but I do want to hear from you first, Eureka, about your thoughts.
Yeah, first of all, I think that, congratulations to the Dodgers. Unfortunately, Los Angeles got to win the NBA championship and the World Series, so couldn't have lost to a better team, and I'm very, very happy for them. But I am okay. Obviously, it was very sad after Game 6, and watching the Dodgers on the field celebrating, and their owner giving like the longest speech ever that just wouldn't stop. I mean, he's just kept reading. It's like there was going to be more pieces of paper, and I mean, oh geez. But the Rays, all in all, are they made me very proud. It was very, very, very heart wrenching when they lost, but it was also like heartwarming with all the good things that have come out of this shortened season and this wild playoff run. The most, I guess the highest peak was Game 4.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was Game 4 was. Now I know there's recency bias here, okay, but as I sit right now, a couple days removed, Game 4 has to be one of the best World Series games ever, and was absolutely the most classic game in Tampa Bay Rays history. There's, out of all the World Series, there's maybe one other game that I think was better, and that was in 2011. There was a wild Game 6 between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Texas Rangers that went 11 innings, and it was back and forth, and you never knew who was going to win, and everyone was just going crazy. And that's exactly how I felt about this game with the Rays. It was a back and forth battle. The Rays kind of went with the bullpen game. It wasn't Blake Snell out there. It wasn't Charlie Morton. It wasn't Glasnow, right? It was, you have Ryan Yarbrough starting the game. And talking the last time we spoke about the Rays, I'd kind of said my blueprint for how they win is to secure the early lead and then give the ball to the bullpen. Well, Justin Turner of LA, hits that homer in the top of the first inning, and it's like, here we go again. But it was just back and forth. I mean, Randy Arozarena, the savior of our postseason, had a huge deep fly ball to center field to kind of get us back in the game. And we were down by 2 runs. He hits a homer, but then Brandon Lau, of all people, shows up to the party. He hits a huge 3-run homer to left center, and it's the first time that we've had a lead change in the World Series. I mean, that's how good the series has been so far, that up to Game 4, we hadn't had one team lose the lead and then regain it. But Brandon Lau hits another deep left center bomb, only for Jock Peterson to come up in the very next inning and tie it up, to retake the lead. So you're sitting here, in the 7th inning, and it's like the Rays have battled back, but the Dodgers are always one step ahead. They're just that little bit, that big maneuver away from the Rays, right? Only for our boy Kevin Kiermaier to tie it up with another home run. And so now it's the 8th inning, and it's 6-6. It's at this point it's insanity. Corey Seager, who was a monster for the Dodgers in the World Series, he gets an RBI single, and then the worst thing happens. Now they're up by 1, and the Rays leave 2 runners on base as the Dodgers bring in Gratterall, and he gets out of the jam. You have this whole series, unfortunately, the Rays have been leaving guys on base, and all of the offense has been coming from these home runs. So when I was hoping that we could get, you get a guy on second base, you have a guy on first. That's when you need a double or a single or something like that. And they weren't able to do that in the 8th inning. But for the Rays, top of the 9th inning, John Curtis comes in and shuts down the order. I mean, he gave up 1 single, but he shut down Will Smith, he shut down Cody Bellinger, and he shut down Chris Taylor. And that momentum comes full circle in the bottom of the 9th as our hometown kid, who's from Seminole. Well, I mean, he's a Tampa Bay area. He's from Seminole. Brett Phillips comes through with a 2-run single, and our boy Randy's barreling toward. He gets past third, and he's barreling. He's halfway to the plate. It's a really good throw coming in. It's so good of a throw that Rosarena stops. Can't really fully commit to the stop, barrels over, does a complete 360, and only to look up and see that the catcher wasn't able to haul in the throw. And then Randy gets back up, he fully extends, touches home plate, and with the biggest grin on his face is patting home plate. And I mean, it's just like the photo of him completely stretched out with his hand perfectly in the center of home plate. With like, if that's not his baseball card next year, I don't know what the better photo is of everything he's done. I mean, yeah, he hit the most home runs by a rookie in the playoffs, but that right there was the Rays postseason, like, encapsulated. And you got Brett Phillips doing a full helicopter, full airplane. He's got his arms outstretched. He's 350 feet into center field. The whole Rays team is running him down. They're trying to tackle him in the middle of center field. He's gassed. Brett Phillips can't do the post-game interviews because he's just sucking air. It's just Kevin Kiermaier. They found Kevin Kiermaier to do the post-game, and he didn't have words. He's just like, I mean, wow, this is crazy. I mean, it had everything that you want out of the World Series theatrics. I could only imagine being the casual guy, the guy that was, who's the Red Sox guy, watching the World Series, and to see this team just having fun, coming up big, not giving up, and showing the resilience, and then having a guy at the end of the bench come through and be the hero. It was the most fun that I've had the whole baseball season of watching anything in the playoffs and anything this whole year. This was all of the good things that we could say about the Rays. So on that note, on the good Game 4, how are you feeling when you're watching this?
When I was watching Game 4, it was a tie game, and then, as you were saying, Brett Phillips comes up to the bat, and I'm thinking, oh God. To be honest, I know the other players a lot more better. I just didn't know too much about Brett Phillips, so I was thinking, all right, I'm just hoping at least he hits it, and Arozarena can at least get to third. He hits a dinger, and outfield of the Dodgers kind of screws up with it. And there goes Arozarena, and then Arozarena's like running towards home, and I'm like, oh snap! And then once he hesitates, I was like, oh my God, they're about to just throw it. They're about to throw it either to the third base or to the catcher, and this guy might be caught in a mess. And then he runs back. He runs back a few steps back to the third, and then he kind of has that. He goes, "Oh crap!" He has that "oh crap" face. He goes, "Oh, never mind. I can make it home." Kind of, scrambles to the home base, and there he is. You already hear the crowd kind of roar a little bit. I think I already saw maybe one or two Rays, players already kind of running on the field, and that's when you see Randy Arozarena, a.k.a. Saint Randy, as you said, smacking that home run play like he's tapping out. He's got that little smirk on his face, and obviously right after that, the camera goes back to Brett Phillips, who's basically flying like he's a Boeing 474 or a Boeing 747. It was unbelievable. As soon as that happened, literally, like, I counted to 10 or something, and I got like 2 Snapchat notifications, My little, group chat with my friends who always also are huge Rays fans. They started immediately blowing it up like, OMG.
Oh yeah.
Like, dude, like I have to like shotgun a beer right now or something. Like, hashtag shotgun for Randy. It was nuts, and I was like, oh my god, hallelujah. We really came through, and it was a really good, really nice just ending. I think everyone was pumped up after that. After that I was thinking, all right, we got this. We got this. This is, we've gotten in the Dodgers' head that, we got this. So we should be good now. Obviously it's still going to be a battle, but it's going to be good. But oh man, it was just absolutely wonderful. And just overall, I just want to say, specifically, I want to first talk about Randy Arozarena kind of just being that one-man show, getting Tampa Bay to the World Series. His big swings, the bat flips, the busting moves. He did it all. So it was just, I've just been so impressed by all of them. And just the fact that this was the Tampa Bay Rays' chance to win their first World Series. Just having that in mind was really nice as well. Whether they win or lose, just seeing how far they've come, I was really happy. Obviously, Game 5 and 6 got some different feelings, and I know obviously you have a lot to say about that as well. But overall, I just want to say it was that Game 4. That Game 4 did make up for, I would say, at least Game 5. I don't know about Game 6 because Game 6 was a little interesting. I'll leave it at that. A little interesting, but it made up for Game 5. After Game 5, I was thinking, all right, that's okay. It happens. We didn't play our best game. It's not like the Dodgers are just some random mediocre team, but we'll come back from this. But on the other hand, I want to know is, what are your thoughts, with Game 5, but also specifically Game 6?
Yeah. So before we get into the sobering bad stuff here, I do want to say, like, I know I'm gonna go back and watch Game 4 at least one more time before the next season, just to kind of relive the peak, the highest moment that we had, and it had everything that you could be happy for about the Rays. So I would say I know it tastes really bad right now that we didn't win the World Series, and especially the way that Game 5 and 6 happened. But if you get a chance, when you're clear-headed and you got a couple hours on your hands, go back and watch Game 4 if you got it on DVR, or if you're able to, like the MLB app, which is pretty awesome. Go back and watch Game 4. Just to kind of put that happiness in your life again. But unfortunately, Game 4 was going to be the last high point for the Rays. Game 5 and Game 6 kind of could be summed up in the same way, and that's that the Rays offense just didn't perform. I mean, with all the good things that happened in Game 4, it was still relying on home runs. Home run. And in both the series against the Astros and the Dodgers, the Astros even being able to get it to a Game 7 was because they were able to do a little bit more on the base paths. They were able to hit a single or hit a double and move a runner. The Dodgers were able to do that, and throughout the whole series, no one won 2 games in a row until the Dodgers won the World Series with Game 5 and Game 6. But it being so back and forth, with the Rays just kind of losing their whole offense in Game 5 and Game 6, it was a hurdle that wasn't able to be overcome because you got good pitching, okay, and I guess to sum up Game 6, it started out really well. You had a really amazing pitching performance from Blake Snell, and you even took the lead. So the Rays, we were able to take the lead with, who else? Randy Arozarena hitting a first inning home run. And at that point, you're like, all right, this isn't Corey Seager. This isn't Justin Turner hitting a home run. This is us coming up in the first, top of the first, and hitting a home run. So then you get Blake Snell, and he goes 5 innings and 1 out in the 6th. He goes 5 and 1 innings pitched. He only gives up 2 hits the whole time. He gives up 1 run, but he has 9 strikeouts through 5 innings. Okay, and I know the big question on everyone's mind, right, is why did Cash take out Blake Snell when he was doing so well? But Nick Anderson alone is not the reason why the Rays aren't going to Game 7, and Nick Anderson alone isn't the reason they didn't win the World Series. Okay, because I think Cash knew that 1 run might be the only offense they get the whole game. Okay, you'd like to think that there's going to be something down the road, but Kevin Cash has to deal with the moment, and I think that's one of the things he's been good at. Is as unconventional as people think he is, what he does is he leverages, brings the closer in when you don't normally do that, but he puts them in the highest leverage situations. So I think everything was going to plan. Blake Snell had gone 5+ innings, and that's pretty much what he does. Blake Snell is not one of these guys that's going to throw 150 pitches. He's not he doesn't have a lot of complete games, at least recently. He's going to give you a Cy Young level pitching performance, but that's only going to be for about 80 pitches. It's only going to be for about 5 innings. And going through that the third time through the lineup, the chances that the other team gets a hit are way higher that third time through the lineup. So I can see why Cash pulled out Snell, okay? And I get that, and I know that Cash tried to say that in the post games and the post game interviews and to the press, is saying like the statistics said we should have done this and the analytics say we should have done this. I don't actually disagree with what he said, okay? Where I think I differ from a lot of the outrage that's been poured on Kevin Cash is that I just completely disagree with him putting in Nick Anderson in that position. Okay, Nick Anderson's been iffy. I know you've talked about it, Masab. I know I've said that I was even iffy on Peter Fairbanks, right? So to me, the one option that Cash should have went with was Diego Castillo. Diego Castillo is the guy that Cash has used in the highest of the high leverage situations this postseason. But Cash is very confident in all of the stable. Okay, he's confident that it wouldn't. That he could put Anderson out there. He can put Fairbanks out there. He can put any one of these guys out there, and they'll protect the 1-run lead. It's just that it didn't work this time, and unfortunately, this was the worst time for it not to work, because he did the same exact thing against the Toronto Blue Jays. Snell goes 5+5, a little over 5 innings. They go to the bullpen. The bullpen closes the game. Everyone's happy. No one's complaining. It just happens to be that it didn't go well in Game 6 of the World Series, and rightfully so. The magnifying glass is there. The spotlights are brighter. But as much as I absolutely disagree with him putting in Nick Anderson, I don't think that it's enough to cause this fire Kevin Cash outrage that's just been permeating from kind of the online presence of the Rays fan base. But as bad as it is, Nick Anderson did give up a single. He gave up a double. They threw a wild pitch, and then he gave up an RBI single. Okay, So you literally just watched Nick Anderson come in and just blow it. All right. But with that said, the Rays still only scored that one run from the home run in the first inning by Arozarena. The Rays just couldn't get it going. And it wasn't just Game 6. It was Game 5. It was parts of, the earlier in the series. And, to be honest, it was like that against the Astros when they lost 3 games in a row. There were these fits and spurts of the Rays just not scoring anything, not getting singles, striking out. They had the most strikeouts. I don't have the actual stat in front of me, but they had just a lot of strikeouts in this postseason, and it's kind of a feast or famine offense that we saw over the last 20-something games. So if you only get 5 hits in the whole game, and you only get 2 walks, and none of those walks were after Tony Gonsolin's 1 and 2 outs of innings performance. So Gonsolin only went 5 outs, and he walked 2 guys, and that's why he got pulled. But that's the rest of the Dodgers were putting in a different reliever every 3 batters, and none of those guys had high pitch counts. None of those guys were in a lot of 3-2 counts. The Rays weren't very patient on offense. They're swinging at these crazy curveballs and stuff in the dirt and stuff. You're swinging at these chest high, 90 mile an hour fastballs, and because you're swinging for the fences, you're digging yourself out of a hole. You just keep swinging, and nothing happened. And even when you did get a guy on base, those 5 hits and 2 walks, well, they left 6 of those base runners on base, and that's been a theme. They've been leaving 5 or 6 guys on base, in Game 5 and Game 6. So you can be I get it. You can be mad at Kevin Cash for that, for bringing in Nick Anderson, and that's where I think the rule change, where the reliever has to go against three batters before he can get pulled, kind of hurt the Rays, because you put in Nick Anderson, he gives up the single, and maybe he gets the double, and that's what kind of put them in a big jam. The wild pitch is what scored the tying run. So after the single and after the double, maybe you come in and you pull Nick Anderson, you bring in Castillo, or you bring in someone else. So the rule change there, woulda, coulda, shoulda, okay? You can be mad at Nick Anderson, you can be mad at Kevin Cash, and all those are valid things. But looking at the systemic problem that the Rays have had in the last 2 series, the ALCS and the World Series, this wasn't one mistake that cost them the World Series. This wasn't one bad outing that cost them the World Series. So, like I said, I can go there with you, but not as far as fire Kevin Cash, and this completely goes against all of the good things that this quote unquote unconventional coaching style, managing style has given the Rays. I guess I'll step back from the microphone a second, because I know I said a lot there, and I know that I'm saying some things that are a little different from kind of what a lot of fans have been saying. So, am I completely wrong here? Are some things you think should have been a little different?
No, I totally agree with you. I definitely think Castillo should have got a little more recognition in Game 6. Unfortunately, he didn't. But it's just want to add, based off of what you said, is just something I just kind of noticed during that game and even after was, I just felt like, that simply removing Snow from that game was kind of a momentum shift for the Dodgers. It kind of energized them. It's kind of like the Dodgers felt like, they kind of had a clean slate before Anderson even stepped on the mound. And I still remember, I believe, it was Mookie Betts, and when Cash kind of, took Snell out of the game, they kind of panned it on the the Dodgers roster, kind of lined up in the bullpen, and he was thinking. Then Betts is kind of, talking with his manager, kind of saying, "Oh, oof, all right, well, good thing that guy's out." It was, to me, it looked like kind of a sigh of relief, and Snell was tough all night, he threw one hell of a ball game in my opinion. He definitely had the Dodgers, off their balance. He made some really good pitches. He grinded, kind of battling with all the batters of the Dodgers. But once it came out, it seemed like it was a little uplifting. I feel like the mental, the mental, game changes a little bit for the Dodgers, and even for the Rays. I'm sure a lot of the players were thinking, okay, interesting decision, Mr. Cash. But in the end, as you said before, this was not just on, Kevin Cash's quick decision to take out Snell, but obviously this is more than just his decision that caused them to lose. It was also, the Rays' loss it's on the players. It's on the Rays players for sure. But I just really think the whole dynamic of Game 6 was a lot different than the first 5 games, in my opinion. I just think, the battles that both of them were having with each other, meaning the Rays and the Dodgers, I just think that it was just a lot different in Game 6. I just was not looking the same. I think, Kevin Cash yanking out Blake Snell, although it's only, you're just taking out one pitcher. It's not like you're taking out the whole team or something, or you're making some massive change. It just comes in your head. You're thinking, wait, what just happened? What's about to happen? So for that reason, it is, at the end, everything what you said, I agree with you, Eureka. It is what it is, though. What happened. And you can't just blame one person. This is baseball is a team sport. It's one thing if someone screws up, like gives off an easy home run or something, but this was more of a team error rather than just Kevin Cash's error. And I think as time goes on, people are aware of that. I think people were just letting their emotions kind of get to themselves, thinking when Kevin Cash did yank out Snell, that, what did Kevin Cash do? If we lose, then it's all on him. But it's just it's a tough loss to swallow, not just for Cash but for the whole team. So it's fine. It's obviously, you and I and everyone else in Tampa Bay was definitely really wishing the Rays won that game and really won the series, but someone's got to lose. So and hey, you got to acknowledge that the Dodgers throughout the season and even in the playoffs, they've been on fire. So you can't expect, this is not a Buccaneers Bear game. It's not like Bruce Arians is yanking out Tom Brady and throwing in, like Blaine Gabbert or Ryan Griffin. This is no Bucs Bears game. This is like a Packers Bucs game. The way I'm talking about, the Dodgers Rays. So it's that's really all I have to say.
Yeah. Overall, through the World Series, it kind of just came down to the Dodgers are a juggernaut. They're a juggernaut. They're $108 million payroll. All right, and against the Rays, $28 million to get all together. It's less than $30 million.
I think Kershaw's salary is almost more than the whole team of the Rays.
If you put between Kershaw and Mookie Betts alone, so alone they're double the what the Rays are. The Rays are less than $29 million, okay, total. Now, so when you look at it and it's like, well, the problem is you had a monster World Series from Corey Seager. You had a really good outing from Jock Peterson, right? Max Muncy. I mean, Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts wasn't even their best, their second or third best player, and he's still Mookie Betts. I mean, he's still getting on base, almost 1 out of every 3 times. Okay, and he was maybe their 4th or 5th best hitter, all told. But for the Rays, if you weren't Kevin Kiermaier or Manny Margot or Randy Arozarena, like if you weren't one of those guys, you probably did bad. Like you probably had a long stretch in the World Series. I mean, if you look at guys like Brandon Lau, Mike Zunino, Willie Adames, right, Austin Meadows, guys like this that they had. I mean, they just couldn't get on base. I mean, the only guys that I think did well. I mean, Margot got on base, but he also struck out a lot. Okay, he got on base a lot, but he also he was your feast or famine. Okay, but Mike Zunino, 9 strikeouts. He had a very 0.63 batting average and 16 at bats, right? Without getting too far, but anyway, the point that I'm making is that like Zunino, Willie Adames, Austin Meadows, Joey Wendell, who came up big in the ALCS, but they just, all these guys, they weren't even getting a hit or a walk, just getting on base 1 out of every 10 times they came up to bat. And that's kind of where it was the kind of statistical background that I was saying that, other than Kiermaier, Arozarena, and Margot, the rest of the guys, it was like, it's almost like they didn't bring their bats to work that day. But that's why I say, go back and watch Game 4. Get the happiness in your life again, so that we're not spending however long the off season's going to be. I hope that they, with them shortening the season and getting the playoffs out of the way, that we're able to come right back into spring training and start this all over again, and get back to like a normal schedule of baseball. But for now, go watch Game 4 and take a step back and enjoy it for what this was. Okay, number one, we're living in the COVID era, so let's be happy for the distraction. I know that baseball and sports in general. Listen to listen to who's talking to you. We're fans, just like everybody else. So let's be happy for the distraction and not get caught up in the rage and the anger, because all in all, in the scope of everything, I was just happy for the distraction from the daily, struggles and tribulations that we're going through, as a world. Okay, and the Rays, they were that unlikely underdog contender against that juggernaut. They are the guys that are, 1/3 of the payroll of the Dodgers. Okay, and this team was really fun to root for. As much as it was frustrating, you had, G-Man Choi's, and you had Randy Arozarena. The story of Randy Arozarena, like he was basically, Ted Williams or Barry Bonds, just basically descending from the heavens and kind of overtaking Randy's body. I mean, this is what it was. Is he comes out of nowhere, and that's a lot to be looking forward to. Have we seen a star being born in Randy Arozarena? Have we seen, not just a really good Ray, but a guy who's going to be, good enough to be on the game covers, to be on MLB The Show, to be in the commercials? Is he going to be the young superstar that the Rays kind of need to strike, win the lottery and strike the gold to get a guy like this? Because the Rays really don't have the money to go out and buy a Mookie Betts. Well, one just kind of showed up at the doorstep as a throw-in of a trade to bring in some guys from the Cardinals. And so the hopeful question that I have is, can they run it back? Is it inevitable that they make the World Series again? Is it likely that we're seeing a team that's just opening the window? We're just getting into what we can do if we're able to maybe add a couple add some pitching. Maybe we add a bat or two, But the reality is that this might be what you have to be happy for. So let's take it for what it was. Take that step back if you have to, and think about all of the fun and the good things and the excitement and the joy and the surprise that this Rays team was able to show, the resilience they were able to show, and the happiness and the joy and the fun that baseball really is supposed to be. So I'm off my soapbox, because you know what? We won the Stanley Cup. All right, we have a championship. It's not all doom and gloom. The sky is not gray. We won a Stanley Cup. We almost won a World Series. And our Buccaneers are kicking butt, and they're in it. They're one of the title contenders in the NFC. So all in all, guys, it's a pretty good time to be a Tampa Bay sports fan. Musab, am I wrong?
You are not wrong, but I will say, Eureka, you did also forget about our Tampa Bay Rowdies, who will be going to the USL final.
Yeah. This has kind of been a running thing, right? So we're like, cause I know I'm not a soccer expert, right? I watch the Premier League in passing, and I watch some MLS every once in a while. I'm not going to say I devote too much of my life to learning about football and soccer, or like world football. But you are right. The Tampa Bay Rowdies are in line to fight for their third ever championship. And this time, last time I did say, hey, we're going to get ESPN Plus if they go to the finals. We don't even have to do that. Musab, this is on ESPN and ESPN Deportes on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. So you know what? Watch some football on Fox or NBC, or tap on ESPN and watch the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Who knows? But I know I've done zero research. I couldn't tell you what the Phoenix Rising FC are about. I couldn't tell you who's going to be the superstar or who's going to be the difference. But Musab, what I can tell you is that 538, which is they actually probably do most of the statistical soccer analysis that I know about during the World Cup, and they have a world ranking system, and I say all that to say that they believe that your Tampa Bay Rowdies are a 52 to 48% favorite to win the USL Championship.
That sounds good with me. I was able to actually find the highlights of the Rowdies game against Louisville.
Yeah.
And
teach me.
All right, I'll see what I can teach you. But first of all, I just want to say that Louisville City and the opponents, Phoenix Rising, who the Rowdies will be facing in the finals. They've been kicking butt in the past when it comes to USL soccer. Louisville has reached now for the fourth consecutive time to the Eastern Conference, and then Phoenix Rising, they reached the finals as well a few times, and so we're already looking at two really dominant teams that the Rowdies have faced and will face. Rowdies were a young team established in 2017, and now, hey, here we are in the finals, thanks to 2 goals that were scored against the Louisville. First from Zach Steinberger, and the second from Sebastian Guinzati. I hope I pronounced that right. And they've just been, they've been dominant overall. Rowdies have only lost once at home this season, and now they're going to be looking for their second, league title overall in their club's modern era. And I think they got it. I think the momentum, first of all, that the Rowdies have been having. I think Phoenix has been going against some tough opponents. I don't really have an analysis on how the Rowdies would, go against, the teams that, Phoenix has gone against. But the Rising have been fighting to really reach this finals. And, so have the Rowdies. But Rowdies have had a thing. I think the matchups the Rowdies have had are a little different. But, obviously I can't, with football is different, but I can't really give you exactly a hot take, when it comes to this game, just because you and I obviously are both not experts,
right?
And we haven't been watching enough. But the way things are going, I think the Rowdies definitely got that momentum. They're Tampa Bay Rowdies, and I think just seeing how well the Lightning have performed, the Rays have performed, the Bucs are have been performing so far. There's no reason for them to kind of just screw this up. If they do end up losing, it's going to be, in my opinion, a really close game and one heck of a game. I definitely will be probably watching just because, hey, it's ESPN. First of all, it's on ESPN, so I don't, as you said, I don't need no ESPN Plus.
Right.
And second of all, hey, unfortunately, can't watch our Rays and Lightning just because their season's over.
Yep.
And our Buccaneers, we're playing on Monday, so
there we go.
That's obviously something I save for. I always reserve some time for my Buccaneers on Sunday, and I like to watch other football games just because I also am doing a little fantasy league, and I just want to get an idea of how other teams are doing. But Sunday night football is only one football game going on. From the top of my head, I don't know who's actually playing. But I will say, I don't know. I'm thinking from the top of my head. I do remember my cousin telling me that they were playing Sunday night. It was I know it was the Eagles.
It's Cowboys-Eagles.
Cowboys-Eagles. All right, Cowboys-Eagles. So. That should be a fun game to watch. I guess just because it's the battle. It's the battle of between two teams in the same division, and that overall division hasn't been too hot overall. So we'll see how that goes. And second of all, I'm just curious just to see Dak's out. Believe Andy Dalton may or may not be back. I need to check up on that injury report. But they got that third string quarterback who people have been really shouting out a lot, Ben DiNucci.
Yeah, exactly.
Ben DiNucci. So I wonder how DiNucci is going to do if he does get playing time against the Eagles, against Carson Wentz and the Eagles. So that's something interesting to look forward to. I'll definitely be watching that, but that's going to be on one channel, and my Rowdies will be on others. So during break times of the Rowdies, whether it be a Cowboys-Eagles break or a Rowdies Phoenix Rising break, I'll be hopping off back and forth just to see if it's if it really is a close game. I'll definitely just keep my eyes only on the Rowdies Rising game. So I wish the Rowdies the best. I think the win against Louisville was definitely a nice statement to the rest of the USL League, and obviously a really nice statement just to the Tampa Bay fans who've been watching that, hey, we're young, but we're on some next level. We are on some next level, and we're ready for a fight.
The thing of just looking over the playoff bracket here, all right. Now, I do know from doing a little bit of research that the Rowdies do play more of an aggressive. They like to possess the ball, and they like to take a lot of shots. It's no different than if you were in like hockey. You got to have the ball to score it, and you got to. So if you have it, the other team doesn't, and you get more shots, you'll score more goals. So the Rowdies, their way to the finals, they played Birmingham 4-2. Right, so we're scoring multiple goals. Then they go against the Charleston Battery, and they do a clean sheet 1-0. Then against Louisville City, the defending champions, the defending back-to-back champions, the 3 out of 4 years champions. Well, what do? They score 2 goals and only give up 1. Well, the Rising have been eking out victories. They won 1-0 in the first round against Sacramento. Then they go to penalties against Reno. And then they go to penalties again against El Paso. So just looking at that without knowing anything, it shows me that Phoenix is going to be another one of these teams that likes to work on the counterattack, and they like to kind of hold the ball in their possession so that the other team can't score. But they're on the road. They're coming to Al Lang Stadium. They're coming to play the Rowdies on their home turf, and I think that if the Rowdies are able to cook, they will cook up a USL Championship trophy.
Yes, sir.
Now, with all that said, man, I just got to say I appreciate everyone, all the people. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Apple Podcasts, if you're on Spotify or Stitcher or Google Podcasts, all of those things, we appreciate you being here first and foremost. You can also check us out. If you're already subscribed on your podcast of choice, if you're already subscribed to us on YouTube, there's one step further, and that's any of the big social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram at RBLR Sports. And let us know, let us know what your questions are. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, if you've got feedback, if you've got spicy memes to send us, at RBLR Sports is the way to do that. And if you're feeling really spicy, you want to leave a voicemail and ask your question so that Musab and myself can answer it on the air, you can hit us up at 813-778-5280. That's 813-778-5280. Please keep your voicemail under a minute, and we will pick the best questions to answer here on the pod. So you are right, Musab, man. I did not forget about the Rowdies, man, because I've already got my DVR set. We're ready to rock. My man, is there anything before we get out of here?
Nope. Thanks again to all those who've been, supporting us. Shout out to all our Tampa Bay Rowdies, Rays, Buccaneers, Lightning fans. And just as Rika mentioned, if you ever want to leave us anything, please do so. We'd love to hear it. We're all inclusive, and we definitely want to give everyone else a recognition. This is not, as much as it seems like it's a two-man show, we are always open. We are always open to discussions and other people's insight. So yeah, thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks to all y'all who are listening.
That's right. This is your show. So we thank you again for taking your time. We know it's precious and we know it's valuable, so we appreciate it. Man, salute to the Rays, man. I know they're going to come back big. The Bucs are killing it. The Lightning, they're still somewhere traveling with the Stanley Cup. Keep it going, boys. Keep the celebration going. We are the City of Champions. And for everyone here at RBLR Sports, we wish you a happy week, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.